Hey, this is Lex, and welcome to another episode of Lipstick and Liberation, a podcast where I, a black feminist, now 41, which is part of what our episode is about, comes in and I talk about politics, social events, and entertainment from my perspective. I want to thank you guys for coming back. I have been sick for the past 2 weeks, so this is the best my voice has sounded in some time. So I decided to go ahead and give it a go with doing my next episode. Thank you guys for coming back. If you want to support the podcast, there are links wherever you listen to podcasts. You can send me a message. You can buy me a coffee by liking the Facebook page and go into that option. You can subscribe, which is super helpful for as low as $3 a month. And it costs me like $18 a month to store this podcast. So if you want to help me out with that burden, that would be super duper awesome. But if not, like I always say, I'm just so glad to have you guys' ears. As with misogyny, so with my lipstick, I always get the shade right. So let's jump right in. I turned 41 a couple days ago and I haven't been feeling well. So I didn't really get to experience that like I thought I was going to. I had an idea of what I do for my birthday and I didn't get to do it. But I'm okay with that because as a part of motherhood, those are some of the sacrifices that you make. I had to go to a concert for my son, which was amazing. He was sick that day, so I was cleaning up vomit. I was lucky to get on some makeup and a nice outfit for his program and get him dressed nicely. But it was not, you think about things when you're younger, like, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to turn up. And it was not that. But I have an appreciation for what I was able to experience as a mom with him. I felt so much joy watching him perform. And I am just so happy that, like, I get to be 41 and I get to be in this space that I'm in. Even in this imperfect country and this imperfect economy, I am very grateful for the space I'm in, the place that I have, the fact that I can take care of myself, that I own a home, and that I can take care of my son and hopefully raise him to be a wonderful, kind man. That is my goal, to raise him to be somebody who won't be oppressive. And so I'm super excited about that opportunity and about the opportunity to talk to you guys. As younger women, I feel like it's my duty to talk to you about, moving on in your life as you guys get older, the things that you want to avoid, the pitfalls you want to avoid, because I don't want you guys to go through everything that I went through. That's the point of wisdom. That's the point of getting older, is that we can tell somebody else a way to avoid all these things. The main thing that I've learned being a woman and becoming 41 is that you're going to go through so many phases in your life. You're going to want to be so many things. You're going to want to be seen so many ways. And you need to give yourself the space to be those people. Never be an oppressor. Try to avoid being a pick-me. I would say overall, if I can encourage a woman to do anything, I would say avoid wanting to get married and have children. Don't make that your life goal if you can. I think that when we make that our life goal, we overlook other things that we could be doing. That becomes our focus, trying to find the perfect man or, the perfect time to have children. What you really want to do is look for a career, look for stability, so that when you are ready to have children and you are ready to get married, you already have those things in place. Because at the end of the day, marriages are not guaranteed. They can end at any time. Children, they cannot be the definition of your life. They cannot. You will find yourself resentful if you make your child the definition of your life. The only thing that matters in your life. They are an important part of your life and you need to be making their life as fruitful as possible, making a way for them to explore things and become a better person than you. But you also need your own set of goals and your own plans. Your children cannot be your life. When you do that, you run the risk of making them live for you. And that's never going to be healthy. So the number one thing that I want to impart on women as someone who has gotten older and who loves getting older, I'm excited to continue to get older as a woman. Focus on yourself. Find some things about yourself to focus on. Do not let yourself die away in this experience of life where people expect you to just become a wife and a mother. We see all this right-wing propaganda lately where they're telling women, hurry up and get married. Don't pick your career. No, that's foolish. Pick your career. Pick yourself. Get to know yourself. Think about the fact that they want you to get married right after you've grown up. You've been under the influence of your parents pretty much up until that time. Most people, I think, still call and check with their parents about, if they want to travel out of the country or health insurance, et cetera, till they're 25, 26. They want you married before you ever get a chance to experience independent thoughts, like divorce from your parents and then divorce from a potential husband. That's their goal, because then you're never going to develop your own personality, your own wants and needs and desires. And that makes you the perfect candidate to be oppressed, to be a trad wife, and to have children and not have your own goals and needs met. And then, if your husband leaves you when you're 30, 35, then you don't have a career track. You don't have an identity outside of being a mom and a wife. So that's going to make your recovery from something like that even harder. And let's face it, most marriages do end in divorce, at least 50%. So you need to be preparing yourself for that reality, that could happen to you, and becoming the identity of your marriage, becoming the only part of your marriage. Your husband gets to have a career outside of you. He gets to have friends outside of those things. He gets to leave all the hard work and home life to you until he's ready to find somebody else to replace you potentially. Don't make that your identity. You deserve time. I would say don't even think about getting married till you're like 32, 33 at the earliest. Like, you deserve time to figure out who you are, what you want in life. Your life is not carved out from the moment you're born and they say it's a girl, that you belong to a man and his destiny and what he wants to do and what these children you're going to have want to do. Your life's about you too. And so if I can impart anything on anybody that is younger than me, as a 40-year-old, 1-year-old woman, I would tell you that your life is about you. Please go out and live your life. Please have a good time. Dress up. Look good. Take care of your body. Whatever brings you that kind of joy, whatever makes you feel feminine and beautiful, whatever it is, do it. Because you don't know how long you're going to have on this earth. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. None of us have any idea how long we're going to be on this earth. So please do not dedicate your entire life to a husband and children. Dedicate some of your life to yourself. You deserve that. You deserve to be valued and treated well. And I want you to find that. Even if you're married now, even if you're a wife now, find a way to value yourself. Have your husband put it in the budget. If you're a stay-at-home wife, you need to be asking for a account where money is deposited in every month for you to save, and a Roth IRA so that you have a retirement. A lot of men want to stay at home wife, but they can't afford a stay at home wife. Do not set yourself up to have a bad life, to be the long-serving person, to be a good mom and a good wife, because nobody else is pouring back into you. As a woman, what do I always say? Get a good deal for yourself. Get a good deal for yourself. So those are the things I want you guys to think about. Travel, love yourself, go to the gym, change your hair color. When I think back to when I was younger, I would have never wore wigs. I never dyed my hair. When I went natural, I never did anything in my hair except henna just to cover the grays. Like now, I have fun. I wear wigs. I try out different colors. I try different clothes. I exist. I think of myself as a canvas. And what do I want to be today? How do I want to look? Where do I want to go? Like, I try to find those moments to invest in myself, because as I get older and I think about the people I've lost along the way, especially, I realize that I only have a finite amount of time to explore this existence. And women are pressured to put so much of that time into their families and their children. I'm pressuring you as a woman and as a feminist, put some time into yourself. You deserve it. Now, moving on, thank you guys for the birthday wishes that you guys did leave me on Facebook and stuff. That was so amazing. And I felt so loved, even though I don't feel well and I didn't really get to go out and celebrate like I wanted to. I really, truly felt loved. I want to talk now about Sherron Moore and that whole experience at U of M, and men and how they claim to be leaders, but they lack so much sexual discipline when it comes to keeping their families together. This guy, he's the first black coach in U of M history as a football coach, one of the few black coaches who's allowed to ascend in the college football arena. And what does he do with that opportunity? He uses it to try to replace his wife with a younger woman. And when it blows up in his face, he threatens violence towards his wife and his mistress. And he's disgraced himself. He truly has. And you see so many men that are like, they understand. Men get it. Because as much as men try to say that women don't have value, inherent value, they are willing to blow their lives up chasing relationships, sexual relationships with women. We have to have value. If you're willing to risk a $6 million a year contract to sleep with a woman, then she has to have value. She has to be worth more than that contract to you. That only makes sense, right? So their arguments, I always tell you guys, and I want to stress this continuously as we are moving forward, as we talk about patriarchy, because you're seeing how it is they're trying to legislate it back into our lives. You see people casually talk about we shouldn't have the right to vote, etc. But look how men are acting. Look what men are doing with their power. They're using their power to cheat on their wives, disgrace their families, and then when they are caught, instead of taking accountability for it, they are threatening their mistress, threatening their wife, threatening the kids, because heaven forbid they take accountability for their actions. Take the firing, go home and deal with their wife, deal with the person who they got pregnant, if they're still pregnant, deal with that. No, they can't do that. They have to crash out. And then, these people are lucky that they didn't experience violence from him, like overall. Like, he made threats, which, that's going to be traumatizing moving forward. He did break into people's house and hold a knife to his neck from what everybody's saying. But he didn't unalive them. There are men we know who will, if they don't get the outcome that they want in life, they will go unalive their entire families, all of them, and not do it to themselves. Unless they get so terrified of spending time in prison with other men, then they'll do it to themselves. But mostly if they think they can get away with it or blame it on you, then they won't do it. They won't even bother with that. They will go ahead and take the chance that the judge and the jury will believe that you deserved it or someone else did it to you. And we look at all this, and then these are the people that are telling us are natural born leaders. Men are not natural born leaders. Men are allowed to get away with so many things in life and coddled by society because of patriarchy that when they lose, they crash out. This is not natural born leader behavior. When you gamble and you take an L and then you try to take out everybody and take everybody down with you, that's not being a leader. And we need to call those behaviors to account. You see so many men even still just talking about the cheating and the fumbling and the money. They're not even talking about the fact that he threatened violence against these women, because that's a non-factor to them, that he was threatening women behind his behavior, that he couldn't even own up to the behavior. They're just like, he lost the money. Not only did he lose the money, but he also tried to crash out behind it. And we got to look at that. That's not leadership behavior. How are you born? It's ridiculous anyway that anybody's born with a penis between their legs and that makes them a leader. But we see time and time again that men are allowed to be so sexually undisciplined, and we're still supposed to look to them for leadership. How am I supposed to expect you to lead my family when another woman coming along being attractive is enough for it to break up the family? That is not leadership. You are not showing any kind of, discipline, honesty, integrity, ability to control yourself, but you're supposed to be able to run a whole family. It's a farce. And this is why I always say, listen to men's actions. Look at their actions, not what they say. They'll tell you they're a leader, but then they'll tell you they're too weak to turn down a woman when she offers them sex. Is that leadership? No, it's not. And we need to be able to say that. We need to be able to call that out. That is not leadership. You are not a leader. You are not showing me that you need to be the head of the family. I think women make better leaders overall than men. At the very least, I think women overall are typically a little bit more sexually disciplined. I don't find that it is very common for people to even be understanding of women if they say, hey, well, I ran into this man. I became super attracted to him, so now I'm going to break up my family. People look down on that. They frown on it. People expect women to have more sexual discipline than men. But at the same time, tell us that men are going to be better leaders for the family, even though, like I said, a woman looking at them or offering them sex gives them the license to wreck the entire family. Makes no sense. And that's why you got to think as a woman logically. Don't listen, like I said, don't listen to what men are saying. Look at their actions. Look at the fact that with his mistress, I don't know what his arrangement was with his wife, who was a stay-at-home mom. I don't know. But look at the fact that his mistress, he made sure that she had a well-paying job in his administration at the college. So he's looking out for her financially. That's why I always tell you guys to make sure you're asking for things. The woman that a man wants, he's going to make those things happen for her. So don't put yourself in bad situations. Most relationships with men are a disadvantage to women because of the fact that the femicide rate is so high, because of the fact of the gender pay gap. You are coming in at a disadvantage. You need to be asking for things. Like, I had a guy that inboxed me the other day, and he was like, what do I have to do to get a constant communication with you? And I asked him, why would I want to talk to you? Explain that to me. Why would I want to talk to you? Why would I want to be your pen pal? What value is that to me? I'm not going to give you free labor of listening to how your day went, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No. You can find girls that will do that, but I'm not the girl that's going to do that. I don't have time for that. You have to ask men. You have to tell men, I'm not going to do this for you. You need to do XYZ for me, because they can do a lot for you. They have a lot of access to things. And if you're not asking for anything, They don't value you. They will use you for what they can get from you and just keep it moving. So you need to ask for things, and you need to be prepared to walk away when they can't provide those things. So I give her kudos, the mistress. I never advocate for cheating. I think we should put wives ahead of anything else. But I give her kudos for making sure that she had a good salary while she was with him. But what was the price to pay? Him breaking in her house and threatening her. You got to look at that. You have to weigh that when you're dealing with relationships with heterosexual men. So overall, this whole thing is a fiasco, and it's really sad. Like I said, as a black person, I don't want to see black men squandering their opportunities like this with a lack of sexual discipline. And that's why we have to raise them to be better. But at the same time, society is raising them. Society is telling men that they can do these things, that they can have it all. They can cheat on their wife and still get away with all these things. They see it all the way up to the presidency. So there's only so much we can do in raising them because society is telling them something else. That's one of the hardest things about being a so-called boy mom, is you're out here trying to make sure that your son doesn't grow up to be tacky and disgusting towards women. But there's a society out there that's telling them being tacky and disgusting and violent towards women is okay. It's acceptable. And we're going to protect you if you do this. So developing an integrity in them at a young age is so crucial, because if you don't develop that integrity, then society is going to come in and whittle away at whatever that they do have and turn them into these people that we see today that are risking their families, their livelihoods, willing to unalive their children and their wives to protect their fragile egos. It's our job to try to prevent that, because we need to do that. Like I talk about as a feminist, how I get on here and talk about women and what women need to do. I'm always here for us. I don't think that men are going to listen, because it's just like trying to talk to white people about anti-racism. Most of them don't care because the system is benefiting them. And it's the same thing with men. Most men are not going to care about making the world a better place for women, because if the world is not a better place for women, that's good for them. But as women, as mothers to sons, we have an influence over our sons at an early age that we can use to try to steer them away from the bad things. Like a creator said this past week, and it's so true, it's really hard to raise a good son. It is. It's really, really hard. As much as people try to say, oh, boys are easier, boys are not easier. Boys just are allowed to get away with more things because society has such low expectations for them. If you really want to raise a son that is not going to be dangerous towards women, you have to do a lot of work. And then you have to go back and deprogram the work that society's doing with them every single day. From the moment they go to school and someone tells them, that's for girls, you're not supposed to like that, that's for girls, as if something for girls is terrible and beneath them. From that moment on, you are playing defense, trying to raise a decent son. And that is what they don't tell you, because they don't expect you to want to raise a decent son. Just one who, makes money and doesn't embarrass you. But for me, I'm going to be embarrassed if you're out here cheating on your wife as a mom. You're embarrassing to me if you're out here putting your hands on your wife. You're embarrassing to me if you're out here screaming at your wife. And I think we need to set that standard as women. That's something we can do as feminists in how we parent our boys, is set that standard that is not acceptable behavior. We got a long way to go. Every day we wake up, this administration is taking away more of our rights. They're trying to make sure that, careers that we're in are not seen as professional. They're trying to force us back under the thumb of men. We can only do so much to resist, but I'm telling you, ladies, you better be doing it. You better be out here getting yourself a good deal. You better be out here doing what you need to do to make sure you are safe. You see these women get on TikTok every day telling you guys about what it's like to go through a divorce as a stay-at-home mom. I went through one as a woman who had money, and it was hard. There's no way in hell that I would want to go through one as a woman who was totally reliant on a man. Stop taking bad, nonsensical deals for yourself. If a man wouldn't do it, then you shouldn't be doing it either. That's what you need to think. If a man doesn't want to stay at home while you earn all the money, you don't need to be doing that either. You need to be getting smart deals for yourself. You need to be raising your sons better to be better people. And you need to be living for yourself. If you take nothing away from me this week with Lipstick and Liberation, live for yourself. Live for yourself. Get good deals from these men. And the last thing I want to talk about is the whole situation with that DoorDash girl. I know what people are saying now. They're trying to say that, it was her fault because she put that lewd material on the internet. I'm still on her side from the fact that I do think that man flashed her. I don't think that there's any excuse for being at home with your pants off downstairs waiting for a food delivery. Even if you did say leave it by the door and the door is open. I don't feel like there's any excuse for that. So I'm firmly on her side. And what I want to say about all that is I'm sorry that she has to go through this. Women are told to have proof. And then when they try to provide proof, they go through this kind of thing. This thing where nobody believes their proof. I hope that she gets justice. I really do. So my voice is starting to give out, guys. Thank you so much for coming back. And I will be back next week to talk more about issues if I'm feeling better. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening.